Dear 18-year-old Jennie, the word that I feel for you when I look at you and your life and your decisions is stop. Stop spinning. Stop analyzing. Stop caring so much what everybody else thinks. And then the other word would be to start to rest into who God has made you to be, to start to listen to his spirit and what he wants to say and do through you. So first I want to address the stops. When I was in college, I struggled with an eating disorder. And when I look back at that, it was so much more, for me, it was so much more mental than it was physical, that I felt so much pressure and it just felt like something I could control. And so to that, I would just say, stop trying to control everything and stop trying to be so perfect. And there is no perfect except for Jesus. There is no line that you're going to finally cross and have arrived somewhere that will cause your heart to be still and peaceful. This is a relentless pursuit that will never, ever end. And so stop running, stop chasing it, stop chasing the world and everything in it, because it's not going to satisfy you ever. You can get it all and it is not going to satisfy you. Stop feeling like you're too much for everyone and wondering if God will ever use you. He will. But before you can get to that part, you are going to have to go through anxiety and depression and a difficult marriage and fear of failure with your kids. And you're going to have to go through a miscarriage, and you're going to have to go through healing from this eating disorder. And you're going to have to go through a season where you're invisible, and you're invisible for a long time. You're invisible for a long time. And while you're invisible, do the work of the kingdom. Do the work of the kingdom even when nobody sees, when nobody celebrates it. Just love people. Love the people God puts in your path in such a way that they want your God. Don't be afraid of the gifts God's given you, and use them wherever you can. And for most of your life, you're going to be using them in a living room with 7 people. And that matters. And don't wonder if it does. Stop worrying so much about boys. Stop longing for a relationship apart from God. Because even when you get that relationship, you will always feel empty apart from God. So start to spend time with him. And I know at 18, you do love spending time with him, but don't ever stop. Don't ever stop and fight for that passion and that private relationship and that private world with God more than you fight for any other thing on earth. Because that will be the thing you take into every chapter of your life. That will be the thing you take into eternity. Stop living so independently. You need people. You need them. And it's okay that you need them. But you're going to have to build that into every crevice of your life as you go forward. So start valuing your relationships and your friendships, because you're going to need them. In fact, a lot of the people that you do life with in these few years in college will be people that you do life with for the rest of your life. So invest deeply in those relationships. Stop judging people that don't know God, and start learning what they need and what they love and what they're wondering about, and be there for them. Be there for them, show up for them. Be their first call when they're going through something difficult or need a ride because they've been drinking all night. Be there for them. because those relationships, they're hungry for God, and he will give you opportunities with the people that you build relationships with and love well. Stop making decisions based on other people's opinions and start to learn the voice of God and listen to it. Know the Bible so you know what sounds like God and what sounds like the world. Know the difference. Stop worrying about the future. You you think you know what you want. You think you know how this is going to go, and it will not go anything like what you are picturing right now. It will be so much harder and so much better than you are imagining. And so rather than try to figure it out, rest in what you don't know. I promise you, God will give you the next step over and over and over again, but he's never going to give you very much more than that. So get comfortable in the waiting and get comfortable in the unknowns and start practicing the random acts of faith and obedience that he's putting on your heart right now, whether that's to pray for someone or to talk to somebody about your faith. Just start practicing obeying the voice of God wherever he shows up, whatever he asks you to do, because you're going to need that. And you're going to do wild and crazy things for God and for his kingdom. But that begins with small acts of obedience. So listen, put your ear up next to his chest and listen to what he wants you to do right now. Stop looking side to side and defining your success and your identity based on comparison to other people. The people beside you are meant to be your teammates and to run beside you. But as long as you are comparing yourselves to them, you will never be free to love them and to celebrate what God is doing in their lives. So start celebrating them and how God has built them and what God has given them. Because healthy sisterhood is based on running together and celebrating each other. So practice now, because that is going to define your life and your ministry. And it begins right now in this time in your life.